Well, Clemson fans, it was a long shot before Saturday. Now it's a kind of impossible shot if we're talking ACC championship game. Now we're really going to find out who plays for pride as Clemson coming off a tough overtime loss after they had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter at Miami. We got Jason Priester here from allclemsontigers.com. Check out his work right there. Jason, how we doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about you?
Well, I'm doing just fine. I need for you to deliver some answers on what happened to this Clemson football team. You know, all these games are close. They could be undefeated, but they're nowhere close to it. And then on this game Saturday night, they're facing a backup quarterback, and they had a 10-point lead late, and the defense looked like it had things under control, and it got away from them.
You just can't keep continuing to put the ball on the ground. Clemson leads the nation in fumbles. They lead the nation in or fumbles lost. Anyways, they lead the nation in fumbles lost going all the way back to the start of last season. It's not the recipe. Your first turnover of the game comes when you're punching it in to score. It's just become a major problem. They turned it over 3 more times Saturday night. Only I think I can't remember if they forced any. If they did, it was only the one. But they lost the turnover margin again, and that's kind of been a story of the season. But for me, one of the bigger things has been the regression of this offensive line. I thought this is a group that kind of, started the season playing well at Duke, played pretty well against the two, let's call them cupcake teams, and then played their best game against Florida State. And since then, Syracuse, Wake Forest, Miami, I think they have gotten progressively worse with each passing game. And it is creating big time problems in the running game, and it's putting so much pressure on your inexperienced quarterback. I think is forcing him, to maybe try to do too much at times, and he ends up making mistakes that cost you.
Yeah, this was obviously a team that didn't want to rely on Cade Klubnik. He was going to be a complementary piece to bring him along and let him do what he does best, but not put the pressure on him to throw it 40 times downfield. Now, if you take away his sack yardage and when he carried the football, they had 20 carries out of their 2 main backs for 58 yards. That's obviously not going to cut it, and Will Shipley and Phil Maffa are both much better backs than that. So, yeah, the offensive line got whipped on Saturday night.
They got straight up whipped, straight up. And I've kind of picked that right guard being a weak spot on that offensive line the last few weeks, but there was no weak spot Saturday night. It was all of them, man. Right tackle got whipped, left tackle got whipped, center got whipped, and he's a fifth-year senior. The best of the bunch might have been Marcus Tate there at left guard, and I didn't think he played all that well either. They just got flat out dominated, period. And there's more talent in that room that I don't think the offensive line should be playing at the level it is right now. Or let's say it this way: there's enough talent in that room that this offensive line should be playing better than it is. I know you lost starting right guard Walker Parks a few weeks ago. Huge loss. I get it. He's your second most veteran guy. I've been playing forever. His backup has struggled mightily. Mitchell Mays, particularly the last 2-3 games. They've tried a freshman there, Harris Sewell. He's kind of been up and down, not a whole lot better than Mays. But again, Saturday night, it wasn't just one weak spot. You can't say, it's one guy busting here, one guy busting there. They just got whipped all night long. And I think it's leading to frustration with those backs. They tend to look uninspired to me at times. They're not showing a whole lot of burst. Even sometimes when there's a running lane there, that they don't hit the right one. They're running into backs of offensive linemen. Phil Maffa looks like a completely different running back right now compared to what he did against Florida State. He just doesn't look like he has any explosiveness. He looks to be most of the time going down on first contact. He's a big 220-pound back, man. That's the guy you want bulldozing guys, and they're just not getting that right now. Even the few times they do have a little bit of room to run, which was few and far between Saturday night.
So, Jason, they're at a point in the season at 4-3, and more importantly, 2-3 in the conference, where again, the conference is basically gone. There would have to be catastrophic issues, and teams would just have to fall apart, and they'd have to lose to the worst teams to fall apart, because there would be plenty of second and third and fourth place teams in front of Clemson that would pick up the pieces and be able to take it from there. So just mathematically, it's nearly impossible. So they're at a place in the season where, do they go with the veterans and move forward? Or do you think, especially on the offensive line, do they have options of other guys to go to that would possibly play better, but most definitely give them meaningful playing time to develop them going forward for 2024?
You know, I've been asked that a lot, and I don't know that there are a whole lot of overnight fixes right now. I think you got some guys in that room that's got a lot of potential. I think a lot of them are young. I don't know how ready they are to play right now. Maybe Ryan Linthicum at center, but Putnam's mostly been solid there for the most part this year. Again, I don't think he played well Saturday night, but I don't think center's been one of your bigger problems. To me, the biggest one's been over there at right guard, and they've been rotating a couple guys there. But I think you got what you got right now, and I wouldn't be a big fan of burning red shirts on guys for 3-4 loss season, 5 loss season. Maybe who knows what's going to happen the rest of the way. But I think they got some young guys in there that's got a lot of potential. I just don't know that a bunch of them are ready to play right now. There's a few of them in there. There's one guy in particular. Let's use Dietrich Pennington as an example. He's been here a few years now. Came in, and they talked about him being an early contributor. Then he gets hurt. He's out for the year, puts on a bunch of weight. They talked him up, about doing all the right things last year, getting all that bad weight off, and he was in great shape now. But haven't seen him at all. So that kind of speaks volumes to me about their trust level in him. I think they roll with who gives them the best chance to win, and I don't ever question that. I don't think they are purposely sitting guys they think gives them better chances to win or anything like that. So I just don't know that there's any easy fix or overnight fix. It's just going to have to be something that you work through the rest of the season. And then if it's a trend that continues and they don't get any better than they have been the past few weeks, or they continue to get worse like they have over the past 3 games, once the end of the season gets here, you got to take a long, hard look into what's going on there, because it's a problem. And I think to me, it all starts up front. And when those guys aren't playing well, it trickles down and it has an effect on the entire offense. You can't get that running game going to take pressure off your young quarterback, and he feels like he's got to try to do it all. And you end up seeing things like we saw on the very last play. It's supposed to be a straight handoff, right? He decides to keep it, and based on a look he thought he saw, and he tries to take it around the edge, and he's dropped 4 loss to end the game there. Again, if you get to the end of the season and you're continuously still having the same issues over and over, I think you got to take a long, hard look into why and what's causing these issues and what can we do to address them.